Welcome to Petty Details, where the crew gallivants down a tree-lined lane of conversation on all kinds of different subjects. Join the crew as they jump in the Wayback Machine in the quest for nuggets of knowledge. Our journey will allegedly drop some petty details on you that you didn't know you needed to know until now. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Petty Details.
Hello.
Got my co-hosts here, Monica and Cam, as always.
Hi.
Hello.
Please subscribe. Send us your
Mhm.
comments. We do read them.
Yes.
And your ideas, because we do, actually write some of your ideas out and then record them. So,
Heck yeah.
yep.
Bring on the suggestions.
If you want some merch, you know where to find us. In fact, we just sent some out like a couple weeks ago. So,
Woohoo.
Uh-oh. Be on the lookout.
yes. Yep. So today I am wearing my Milli Vanilli shirt.
Milli Vanilli, not feeling Todd.
Not feeling
Not feeling
Todd. Yep.
Got some, let's go in the Wayback Machine, bro.
We're
Yeah.
definitely going to use that one today.
Nice.
And I have the allegedly on.
Ooh, we are
Very
also going to use that
nice.
one today.
Oh, we're allegedly in the
Fantastic.
Wayback Machine
Yes.
with Milli Vanilli.
Exactly.
Boom.
All right. So today's episode
Ooh, yes. Bring it on.
is about killers who were on game shows.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
And I found more of them than you would think.
Oh, geez.
Oh, you're telling me they did background check any of these people?
No,
I
they
guess
did
it would
not.
depend on when the game show was,
Right.
but yeah.
Right.
All right. So we are going in the Wayback Machine to 1972.
All right.
So there's a show called To Tell the Truth, and it's a
Okay.
panel show where four celebrity panelists are shown three contestants, and they have to identify the one who had the weird occupation or experience by asking them a bunch of questions, right?
Okay.
This was on from about 1956 to 1981, and then they had like a
Oh wow. That's
yeah, it was on for a
Yeah.
long time. And there were a few seasons after that, but it was like kind of a offshoot, it wasn't like the
okay.
main show.
Spin-off.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our killer, I think that he's a killer just because of his name.
Okay. 3 names.
No. But
Oh.
He's
I
got their
hate
name. Oh.
I hate when people do this to their poor children. His name
Oh,
is Ed Edwards.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is his last name
No.
a first name, but never mind.
Yeah, like
Ed Edwards, really?
yeah, like
Yeah,
when
it'd be a
people
little
are
Ed Edwards is
Phil Phillips,
terrible.
I'm like, come on.
right.
Can you
Be more
can-
creative.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Ed Edwards was on the show because he had written a book called The Metamorphosis of a Criminal, The True Story of Ed Edwards.
Oh.
He wrote a book about himself.
Red flag.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Ah,
An
okay.
autobiography.
Ish.
My
yeah.
memoir.
Now,
Yeah.
who is this guy, right? Who is Ed
For
Edwards?
real.
Well, he's born in 1933 in Ohio. And we get his backstory from his autobiography, so I'm not going to say how true this is.
Okay.
Hey, an exaggerated self-portrait of himself. Yeah.
Probably,
Right,
yeah. Yeah, but this is what we've got, so this is what we're going with. But he says that he grew up an orphan. He was abused by the nuns, that he was a juvenile delinquent, and then he
Mhm.
joined the Marines.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a normal pipeline, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like
Yeah.
that's just a general pipeline for that time.
Mhm.
Well, seriously, I mean, like you hit a certain point, and it's like, okay, you have 2 choices: join the military,
Right.
or keep going down this road and
Yeah.
screw yourself
Right.
up.
Right.
Well, he kind of goes down the other road because then he
Huh.
says he went AWOL and was
Jeez.
dishonorably discharged.
Okay.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
Painting that picture right there.
right.
Right.
So he also says he was a ship docker, a vacuum salesman, and a handyman.
Jack of all trades,
Okay.
master
Yeah.
of none.
Yeah.
But
He
in
likes he likes he wants both sides of the story. He's like, I want my cake and I want to eat it
yeah.
too. It's like,
Yeah.
hmm And then we're gonna kind of go off the rails. So in
more
19
more than that.
more, yeah.
Foreshadowing.
A third option.
So in 1955, he escapes
Hmm.
jail and he starts robbing gas stations.
Jazz one day.
Nice.
That part is true.
Okay, wait. That just brought something into my head. I don't know if you guys have these gas stations around you, but like in Lafayette, there's a store called the Hit and Run. There's like shop and go and like stuff that's like that like sounds like you could like steal and run away and get away with it. Like these
Yeah.
stores are named I was like, I don't know if this is a joke, but I feel like that's not what you should be putting in people's heads as they're walking into
Yeah.
your store.
No, I don't.
Hit
We
and
don't
run
have
got
those.
me. Like I started busting out laughing when I was like, it's called the what? The hit
Yeah.
and run is crazy. I was like, that's wild.
My favorite is the come and go.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That one is pretty funny. Yeah.
All right.
That
So
one gets me every time I see one of those. I'm just like,
every
yeah,
time.
what?
Yeah. All right. So he starts robbing gas stations, but he really wants to be famous. So he
Okay.
doesn't disguise himself. And he ends up on the FBI's 10 most wanted list in 1961.
Wow, that's a lot of gas stations.
What?
Yeah.
How does I was gonna say, how does he end up on the 10 most wanted? I guess there's not that many in 1955. There's like probably 20. He's like top 10.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yep.
But even still, it's like, I mean, that's a lot of gas stations.
Right. As I say,
Right.
you're my favorite 12th person, so top 12, top 12. All right. So after escaping an Oregon jail in 1960, he starts impersonating an officer and gets charged for
Ooh.
that.
Great.
Yeah.
He finally gets captured in 1962 and is paroled in 1967.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mm,
that stuff is true.
Gotcha.
yeah.
And then we have more questionable things. So
Uh,
this
Oh,
is
even
when
more.
he says that he was reformed
Oh.
and he
yes.
decides to
Yeah.
become a motivational speaker.
Oh,
Yeah.
an even deadlier pipeline.
Oh boy.
And
A
he writes,
reformed motivational speaker
yeah. And he
who will
writes,
never do it again.
no, he's never
Yo,
going to do it
no.
again.
Uh-uh.
And he writes this book all about how he helped the FBI in all these cases.
What?
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And we believe this how much?
Right.
Right.
And Ed does admit to crimes like robbery and arson in the book. So he's not saying he's like an angel.
Right.
But he does say things like the FBI really valued his insights.
I'm sure that he definitely helped profile some other folks. Yeah.
Yeah. And he can't
Right.
really talk about specifics of the cases because, it's classified.
Oh yeah,
Of
naturally.
course.
Active investigation and whatnot.
Open
Yeah.
case.
Oh, this guy.
So, like we said, we don't really know all the truth about Ed because, well, he wrote it himself.
Right.
But here's what we
Mhm.
do know. That he wasn't that reformed because in
Shocker.
1982, he's sent to prison again in Pennsylvania for arson.
Oh boy.
Here's what else we know. Between 1974 and 2009, dude lived in over a dozen different states using fake names.
Oh my gosh.
2009. That was not that long ago.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Bro's been doing this for a while.
Right.
Mm.
And this, I love this part so much. Here's what else we know. In 1993, he writes this letter to the FBI where he says that J. Edgar Hoover himself, and this is a quote, more or less gave permission to proceed with writing his autobiography and that he's writing a new book about Jimmy Hoffa and Charles Manson, who he says he met while in prison.
Well, how delusional
Right.
do you have to be to think that you need the authorization of the president to write a book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
What?
I spoke with J. Edgar Hoover
Oh,
personally.
jeez.
yeah.
Wow.
We have each
Uh,
other's cell phone numbers.
yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
Yeah,
guess
this
it'd
is
be just normal phone number.
this guy is a piece of work.
Yeah, he is.
Mm.
Wow.
But during this whole time that he's moving around, he's a busy guy.
Okay.
Hmm.
And he's not just selling vacuums
Or being a handyman.
or being a handyman. Although he might have been selling vacuums to get some of what he does done. But
Wow.
in 1977, there is a couple in Ohio, Judith Straub, who's 18, and William Lavaco, who's 21. They're
Hmm.
Okay.
on a date and they go missing.
Oh.
But
Okay.
Judith's, there we go. Purse and her shoes are found in their car. And the two are found in the weeds a short distance away. They've been shot.
Okay.
Oh.
But this case goes cold until 2010.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a long time.
Yeah.
So in 1980, in Wisconsin, there's Tim Hack and Kelly Drew, who are
Okay.
both stabbed and strangled.
Jeez.
Okay.
Now, Ed was questioned at the time, but he is let go for lack of evidence. And this case
Okay.
also goes cold.
Was he questioned in the first one?
No.
The shooting? No. Okay.
And then in 1996 in Ohio, Danny Boy Edwards, who's 25, and the foster son of Ed Edwards, which I don't know how he got a foster son with his record, but he did.
No, for real.
Yeah,
Okay, but what?
right.
That's not scary at all.
Yeah, so Danny Boy is in the army when he also goes AWOL,
Mm.
Oh.
and he is missing until 2010 also.
Oh, dang.
Okay. So here's what happened. Ed Edwards living his best life, but he's super obsessed with detective stories and murder, which doesn't
Okay.
seem all that odd.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, we're into that too.
Yeah.
Right.
But his daughter, April, starts thinking that his stories like don't add up. Shocker.
Hmm.
Right.
And he's just kind of weird. Like he's just a weird dude. And so
Well,
in
yeah.
2009, she starts searching online for cold cases in towns that they had lived in when she was growing up.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
You're
And
she
gonna find
started
something you
connecting
don't want
dots.
to
Gotcha.
mhm.
see.
Yeah.
And they moved around a lot when she was a kid. And he said it was because he was this informant for the FBI and somebody would find out and they would have to move, blah, blah, blah.
Wild.
Right. But
Bullshit.
she ends up hitting on the 1980 Wisconsin murders of Tim Hack and Kelly Drew, and it
Okay.
fits when they lived there.
Oof.
Okay.
She also remembers that they left town pretty abruptly after the murders.
Oh.
Oh no.
So she decides to call the detectives, and
Mm-hmm.
the detectives remember who already had his name because he was questioned
Right.
in that one,
Yeah.
Mm.
run his DNA, and boom, there's a hit.
They got a hit. Oh.
Mhm.
DNA. Man,
Oh.
DNA's gonna get you every time.
Every time. So Ed is arrested in Kentucky in 2009. And he's like described as pleasant and neighborly by the people around him, which is kind of normal
Well,
for
yeah.
serial
I was,
killers.
I was gonna say
Right.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Nice enough
Right.
guy.
You gotta
But
have the charisma.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, and that's exactly what it is. It's scary, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's caught, right? Because of this
Mm-hmm.
DNA hit. So he
Mhm.
starts pleading guilty to the murder in 2010.
Okay.
But
Okay.
he decides that he wants the death penalty.
Like
So,
he's requesting it?
yeah.
Like
Okay. There's a
just
twist.
end it for me, please.
Yeah.
Right.
So he has to not only admit to the Hack and Drew murders in Wisconsin, but the Straub and Lavaco murders in Ohio.
Okay.
And he ends up admitting to killing his foster son for a $250,000 life insurance plan.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So he ends up getting the death penalty, but dies in 2011 of natural causes.
Dang.
Okay.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here is the kicker, though. Some people believe that this guy is actually the Zodiac killer.
Really?
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And could be responsible
okay.
for way more murders around the country than he didn't admit to.
I was gonna say
Right.
because but if he wanted to be famous, why would he? You know what I mean? If he truly
He
was a
would
Zodiac
he would say,
killer,
"I am the Zodiac killer."
yeah,
Yeah,
that would get
because
him
that
way
would
more
get him
fame.
so much more fame.
Yeah, I don't
Especially if you
I
like,
don't
I
know.
want the death penalty. I'm the
Right.
Zodiac. Like to me, I'm like, you're gonna die anyway, and you might as well let people know before you go.
True,
Yeah,
but
and that's
I don't know. This guy's just kind of weird, like in his thought process.
Because
okay. I mean,
because
which
the way the
fair he
Zodiac killer
is,
is
yeah.
described is like super calculated, super smart, super all this,
Hmm.
and so
Hmm.
it's like I don't know if this fits that,
Well, and I
or he's
guess
just
that's
kind of
yeah, I guess that's what's confusing me is like the way these other ones were carried out, maybe not
hmm
quite as precise, and maybe he honed his skills, whatever you want to say.
right.
Um, and maybe he was the Zodiac killer, but like again, if
He
he
definitely
wanted
has like the arrogant
fame,
part,
yeah,
Right.
I
right?
just feel like if he wanted fame, he would have admitted to that he's gonna die anyways, like you said, Cam. So
True.
it's I don't
Yeah.
Right.
know, it's just weird. But Meg, you make a good point too. He's just odd. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who the heck
And that's the thing
knows?
is if they moved around as much as she says they did,
Yeah.
then he's probably got a lot more murders under his belt.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
These
don't
are
know.
just the ones that she was able to connect. Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Now this one, this next one you probably do know about. This is probably one of the more famous cases, and there is now a movie about it. I knew about this one first though, so okay. So we're gonna stay in the 70s
Okay.
Love.
and we're
Okay.
gonna hit up 1978 and a show
We're gonna
called The
stay in the
Dating
70s.
Game.
We're all gonna do a line. I'm
Right.
just kidding.
Just a thought, not a fact.
Just thought,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
fact,
yeah.
yeah.
Right, right,
So The Dating Game was a show that was on from 1965 to
Hmm.
1973 initially, and then there were
right.
Okay.
spin-offs after that.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's
hmm
how we get to the show in 1978.
Right.
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 And basically, single people would sit behind this barrier, and there would be three potential dates that would answer questions. And then you would go on the date with whichever one you choose.
Yeah.
Kind of like a blind date
Yeah.
Hmm.
with multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in 1978, this chick, Cheryl Bradshaw, goes on the dating game as the contestant. And one of the contestants on the other side is this dude, Rodney Alcala.
Okay.
Kayla?
Yep.
I think it's Alcala.
Kala.
Yeah,
I
who
think
says
so.
he's a photographer.
Hmm.
And she initially likes him, and he ends up winning the date with her.
Yep. I just watched this
Um,
movie last week.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. And if that portrayal is like any actual indicator of what really happened, I can see why. Because he was
right.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he was charismatic. Like
yeah,
he could talk
yeah.
to a
You
crowd.
can see it. There,
Yeah.
the show's on
There's
the
videos
internet.
of yeah, there's videos of the actual
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
like actual show. It's crazy.
Yeah, but once they get backstage, he starts like really creeping her out, and so she ultimately decides not to go on the date with him, which is probably the best decision she ever made.
In her
Right.
life. Smart woman.
Right.
Yeah. And this one, this one is interesting to me because like I remember when I was growing up, and Monica, you might remember this too. There were certain things that your parents told you like to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
One of which was don't get in a van with anybody. Like that was a thing.
Don't take a ride from strangers.
Don't take a
And now
ride
we
from
have Uber.
strangers.
Right.
And if somebody came up to you and said that they wanted to take pictures of you or something, then
Yes.
don't do it.
Or hey,
Yeah.
I'm a producer. I can
Right.
get you a recording
Right.
gig,
Hmm.
photographer, things like yeah, those were kind of like
Yeah.
big triggers to watch out for, yeah.
Yeah. And this isn't the only guy who did it that way. There
Right.
are quite a
Oh,
few killers that used that
which
line.
is why it became a hey, don't
Hey,
ever
don't
Don't
do
do
this.
this.
go
Right.
with someone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It became a cautionary tale because so
Exactly.
many kidnappers and killers and stuff used that
Hmm.
technique.
Right.
So, because Rodney Alcala is the quote, the dating game killer.
Hmm.
He's active for about 10 years, from
Yeah, he was.
1968 to 79.
Long time.
I was gonna say he was. Yeah, he was surprisingly busy.
Yeah.
For like a long stretch of time.
Mm-hmm.
That part
Right.
kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't realize that he was active for that long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's active while he's on the dating game show.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy.
he ends up getting convicted of only 5 murders in California.
Okay.
So, let me tell you a little bit about this guy. One of his first crimes that he's caught for was in 1968 when he assaults an 8-year-old girl, an 8-year-old girl in his apartment.
Oh my God.
God.
But the dude evades capture when she survives and he goes on the run. So they knew
Oh,
about him way back in
That's
68.
wild.
holy crap.
Right. But super charming, right?
Yeah.
And he's
Crazy.
using all these fake names and he's moving around a lot, so he avoids capture for a long time. And back in the day, you could get away with using a fake name.
Yeah.
Right.
That it was
For
enough
a
to just yeah,
hmm
change your name and yeah.
Yeah, it
Right.
wasn't like it is today where
Cut
they
your
do
hair a
like super
little, change
background
the color of
checks.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have the electronic footprint then that
Mm-mm.
you do now.
Yeah. So then he goes on this spree, and here are the 5 murders that he's convicted of. So, 1977, an 18-year-old named Jill Barcombe.
Mm-hmm.
Another in 1977, a 27-year-old named Georgia Wixted.
Okay.
1978, a 32-year-old named Charlotte Lamb. 1979, a 21-year-old named Jill Parento. And again in 1979 with a 12-year-old named Robin Somoso.
All over the place with the ages. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
He
Right.
doesn't have a type. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
some of these
Yes.
guys,
Other
oh,
than
has to be
woman, yeah.
blonde,
Yeah.
blue-eyed,
Right,
whatever.
Other
right,
Yeah.
right.
than yeah.
He does
That's
not.
as you were naming those 5, I'm like sitting here trying to figure out with him like what's the correlation? Like, oh, is he escalating in age, like getting
Nope.
to quote unquote the final age? That's crazy.
Yeah. I think that makes serial killers like scarier to me.
Oh, yeah.
When they don't have a
When they're
type,
just like, right, when they're just willy-nilly.
unpredictable.
Yeah, like the
Because
Yeah.
one
then
that
then
the one
you're like, oh, it can't be me if they have a type and you don't fit that
right.
type. But if
Right.
there's no type, then you're like, frick, it could be any of us. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
exactly.
the one that scares me the most is the Night Stalker because
Yes.
he didn't plan
Oh.
anything. If he walked by
Right.
your house and he decided that your house was the house, then that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
it could
watched
have been
that
anybody.
documentary. Oh my God, that was
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. Like that creeps me out. But Rodney's MO is that he lures these people in by saying he's a photographer and he wants to take their picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then he strangles them until they are unconscious.
Jeez.
Then he revives them. And then he repeats this until they are
Mhm.
dead.
God
That's like,
complex.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is pretty horrific stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's messed up.
Like
Yeah.
he basically kills them multiple times.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the dude like thinks he's above the law
Mm-hmm.
because he
Clearly.
goes on this game show all the while he's out murdering people.
Mm-hmm.
That blows my mind.
Right. So how does he get caught? Well, it's not because he went on the game show.
No.
Well, when he lures the 12-year-old Robin into his, web, she's
Mm-hmm.
on her way to a dance class in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
But a friend of hers says that she was approached by someone who wants to take her picture and is able to make a composite sketch.
Okay.
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 Well, Rodney, by this time, is on parole for attacking the 8-year-old because they finally kind of found
Right.
him.
Yeah.
And his parole officer happens to recognize him.
Oh dang.
Oh.
So it's not because he was on the dating game.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the cops find this receipt for a storage locker in Seattle. And when they open it up, there is hundreds of pictures of victims,
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
and they are used to identify some of these people.
But he was only convicted of 5.
He was only convicted of 5.
Whoa.
Okay, that blows my mind.
Yeah. So, well, once you're convicted of 5, I guess they're like, oh, well, you're in jail forever. So
Yeah,
what's the
no,
point?
But still.
true.
Yeah. So he is charged in a couple of different states, including New York and Wyoming.
Okay.
Mhm.
And in 2003, his DNA is linked to 4 other murders in California.
Oh wow.
But he ends up dying in prison in 2021 of natural causes.
Oh.
Hmm. Not fair, but okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So this one I just happened upon.
Down your rabbit holes.
Yeah. And I'm probably gonna screw up his name. But then there's this guy, Tim Bleifnick.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Tim and his wife are getting a divorce, and they're
Okay.
living apart in 2023. So this is a recent one.
Oh dang.
Oh.
When he breaks into her house by climbing onto her roof and coming in through a window.
I thought you were gonna
Okay.
say the chimney. I was like, okay, Santa.
No,
Yeah.
My bad.
no. And he shot her 14 times.
Oh my God.
14?
Right.
Overkill much? Jeez.
What?
Oh, yeah, he did not like her very much.
Clearly.
That's crazy.
But in 2020, he was on Family Feud.
Oh
No.
dang.
My
And
gosh.
yeah, it gets a little creepy here. He was asked by Steve Harvey, "What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?" And Tim, after 11 years of marriage at this point, because he's still married to her at this point,
Yeah.
says, "Honey, I love you, but I do."
Oh my
God.
gosh.
Yeah.
And then
And
3 years
that's
later.
where it
Mhm.
went downhill.
That's
Mhm.
He was
insane.
like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
divorcing you.
Right.
Wow.
And he tries to make it better by saying, "Oh, it's not my mistake." But
Excuse me. No, there's no backtracking from that, sir.
Right, right.
no.
You said it, you can't unsay it. What the heck?
Yeah.
Right. So it did end up being poor Becky Bleifnick's biggest mistake, which
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
And Tim is now serving life in prison, and he still proclaims his innocence.
Okay.
How 14 times
Right.
just trying to figure out how you talk your way out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, I swear I didn't pull the trigger.
Right.
Right.
That's just insane.
That's crazy.
It's just nuts.
All right. So now let's talk about John Cooper.
Okay.
Oh.
So this guy was born in 1944 in Wales,
Okay.
and he's got some behavioral issues growing up. He's like a bully. He's really aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts out as a thief
Okay.
and ends up with a gambling problem when he gets older.
Okay.
All right. I
Okay.
can see the correlation.
Right.
Right.
But in 1989, he shows up on this show called Bullseye, which was a UK show where there were 3 contestants and they aim these darts on a board. Then the quizzer asks them questions in relation to the segments on the board to win money.
Okay.
Okay.
The show is on from about 1981 to 1995.
Okay.
Okay. Decent
And,
run.
yeah.
Mhm.
And in Wales, John is known by the cops as a burglar.
Okay. So
But
he's already
An
has a
avid burglar.
reputation.
Right,
Right.
right. His recreational time is burgling, but
Right.
Yeah. But he's not really a violent guy, according to his
Mm.
records. So they're like,
Yeah.
eh,
I was gonna say burglary, usually not.
yeah.
little
Well,
light burglary.
he
I was gonna say
was.
not. I was gonna say typically not a
Right.
violent crime, but yeah.
Yeah.
Escalation does occur.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Clearly.
he was really violent. So in 1985, he kills Richard and Helen Thomas. They're both in their 50s, and they
Oh,
were
dang.
siblings. Okay.
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 He ends up shooting them and setting fire to their house.
Oh my God. So arson
Crap.
as well as murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
the
God.
case ends up going cold, and nobody looks twice at John because he's not a violent guy, right?
Right. So far,
Oh
he's just
no.
burgled.
Hmm.
Right.
So he goes about his days. He's gambling. He's being a thief, going on game
Being a
shows.
thief.
Right.
He would wreck house on TikTok, guaranteed.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Just a little
Um,
B&E here and there. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just a prank,
So
bro. It's just a prank.
it's fine.
then in 1989, he kills Peter and Gwenda Dixon, also in their
Okay.
50s, while they're out walking.
What?
Just in
How does
broad
he kill them?
daylight.
Kind
Shoots
of,
them?
yeah. Yeah, he decides he's going to rob them. He makes them give up their bank cards and the pins, and then he shoots them.
Whoa.
Dang.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's also off committing a string of sexual assaults and burglaries.
Oh my
Goodness
God.
gracious.
Yeah.
Well, he's like doing every violent crime ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he ends up in prison for one of these robberies when the cold cases are reopened into the Thomas and Dixon murders.
Mhm.
Okay.
And guess what? In 2011, his DNA is matched to the murders.
Right.
DNA.
Hmm. Not only that, but the shotgun. I can't.
Shotgun?
Yeah. So
He shot them with a shotgun in broad daylight?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He has a
Yeah.
brass pair. Yeah.
That's
Oh, he
that's a
does.
bold motherfucker.
He does.
That's crazy.
Because the shotgun that he used in the murders was sitting in evidence because it had gotten confiscated during his robbery arrest.
No
Oh my
way.
gosh.
Yeah, he just didn't give a shit.
No, like
Clearly not.
0 F's were
Yeah.
given.
So, what seals his fate and lands him with 4 life sentences?
Yeah, what?
He
Spin
is
the wheel.
recognized from his time on the game show.
Oh.
Okay.
He's like,
Game
hey,
show
you're that
finally
guy.
coming in for the win.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, but crazy enough, he's the only one out of these 4 that is.
So weird. Yeah,
None of the other
that's
ones
what
were.
brings them in.
Also crazy is that like the name of the game he was on, it was Bullseye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and then he shot all of these people.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That's a
Yeah.
coincidence. Family Feud, his wife. Family Feud. Oh my God!
The
Wait,
light bulb just went off for Kim.
these are that actually freaks me out more. That these are like dating game. He like these are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The links on like these game shows to the wow, a whole new level unlocked. That's insane.
Yeah.
Please tell me I'm not the only one to just now link all of that. Can't be. I can't be.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Ugh.
I guess in
Yeah.
the comments.
Watch what Price is Right. What crime do you do with that? Shoplifting, probably.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Theft.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. If you're out committing the crimes,
Don't go on a game show.
that's right. Don't
Right?
have balls big enough to go on TV.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Some of these people are like unbelievably cocky.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
like-
they truly believe they cannot be caught. They think they're
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
good.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
gonna happen to them.
Right.
And they seriously, or they just do not give a shit
Yeah.
at all whatsoever.
Hmm.
They think they can charm their way out of it as well. Like
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
that, especially the ones with the like high charisma
Mm.
Oh yeah.
personalities.
Yeah. I
For
don't think
sure.
John Cooper was that guy, but
You're not that guy, pal.
no.
Yeah.
So there you go. Stay petty, my friends, but not too cocky.
Yeah, seriously.
Right.
Petty, not cocky. There we go.
That's
Petty,
right.
not cocky.
All right. Bye.
See ya.